Welcome back to GoodKnit Kisses. I'm your host Kristen, and my friends at allfreeknitting.com and I would like to present you with how to make an ear flap. Now I'm going to start this ear flap, and I've already got this one going. I've made it for a beanie, but you can start and make a 2-loop I-cord and just make one long braid here. When I say 2-loop, I mean just starting with 2 pegs and continuing to make your I-cord until you have the desired length. This one is about 50 stitches, 50 rows, or 12 until you get 12 inches, so however bulky your material is. And I'm going to show you how to do this in a garter stitch pattern, and this is just how I've done it here. You can tie on a pom-pom here. This is if you didn't want to have an I-cord going on, or you could thread through the loose ones, or just tie on a pom-pom. So if you just want to have them short, some people don't like the long cords. You can also have this to where it buttons up, and you pin it up here, and you can attach a cute little button, and so add a little embellishment to your hat. So let's get started with making this ear flap. To start your triangle, let's start with a slip knot, wrap around, put the back over the front, move forward, pull down, and just going to pick a spot on your loom. I've got this to where it's going to be an ear flap, so I'm going to count because I'm going to make a hat with this later. So, okay, you're going to pick the spot on the loom that you want to do. I'm just going to start here, and you're going to wrap right here and then go around the other one and cast on just an E-wrap. It's just a 1 wrap cast on. Go ahead and do the next one. Like we're going to start an I-cord, but we're just going to do 1 row with 1 stitch here. So cast on and then 1 row, and then go ahead and E-wrap this next peg, and then we're going to wrap the next one, which is we're calling a half hitch, or it's just it's beginning your new slip stitch for the next row. So this is going to be our purl row, but because of the technique I'm using and I want to have a cleaner edge, I'm going to, on the first one after this new slip stitch, I'm actually going to, instead of going down and purling it, I'm going to make an E-wrap. I'm going to knit over. And then now I'm on, whoops, I'm sorry, that's my tail. I need to tuck that in. Okay, I don't want that to confuse you. So now I'm actually going to purl this because I'm going to increase by 1. And when we worked this side, let this just be a regular half hitch stitch to start the next. So now we're going across to the left, and we're going to E-wrap all of these remaining. Okay, so now we've increased by 4. Now we're going to do a set here where we're not increasing. So you just increased evenly on each side, and now we want to add to that. It's not so severe, so that you're not increasing every time. So every other time you're just going to go across and knit as usual. Okay, so here's where we've got our slip stitch. Now I'm going to E-wrap this to make that cleaner edge, and now we're going to purl. Remember, this is the purl row. We're doing the half stitch to fix potential big loops. So that's a purl. And now we're on the end, and we're going to E-wrap. And I know it sounds funny, but trust me, it's going to work. So we've E-wrapped. Now we're going to be on our next increasing row. So we're going to work to our left, E-wrap, and then wrap around and creating that next half hitch stitch here, which will be your slip stitch on the next row. It'll just remain, you won't touch it. Knit over. Oops. And now we're going to, instead of purling on our purl row, I want you to wrap it, E-wrap. Okay, now you're going to purl. This time you can purl more because we've added a stitch. Sorry, hitting the camera. Okay, you're at the end of this. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and purl. By the way, I'm sorry I did not say, I'm actually using Lion Brand Hometown on this. It's a super bulky 6, so if you're wondering what I'm using, sorry I didn't tell you before. So now we've done our purl, we want to increase one, okay? That's all you're going to do is just you're adding a slip stitch to the next row, which is also called a half hitch, to increase a stitch. So now go back through and we're going to E-wrap for this row. So we just increased on a row, so now we're not adding any more. So I'm locking this in by going over here and knitting over on my pegs. Alright, so now we're going to go back through and we're going to act like this is a purl row, and again on the left side, when you're working from left to right like I am, you're going to E-wrap the first one. Oops. Do yours do that? Mine do. I hate to glue them in. You can actually glue these in or stick some paper underneath them, but I don't like to do that. As you can tell, if you're wondering why does she have this yellow peg, well, I actually mark mine for when I want to do the special decreasing crown that I do. So I just leave them on there all the time, and actually I had to use it for another one, so that's why you see this little marker here. Sorry, I thought I'd explain why I have a goofy loom here. Okay, so now we're going to purl. And E-wrap that last stitch. Always E-wrap on the right. Again, it's a half stitch, it's just a technique, it's an E-wrap. Oh, don't be scared. So go ahead and E-wrap the rest of this row, and you're done with that, and then you're going to increase, because now we've done a set of regular stitches here without increasing, and then now we're on the increase now. I don't know if I said that right, but just watch what I do and not what I say. Okay. Alright, so we've got the slip stitch and we're back to making our purl row again. E-wrap. Purl. Okay, so we have, just to check if you're a little lost, so we increased on this row, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we want an even number on the row. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to purl here because we're adding the slip stitch or the increase or the half set hitch. I know there's a lot of terms, but okay, so we did that. We're going to wrap these around and do a regular E-wrap row, and then you go back and do a regular purl row, always E-wrapping the first one. And then you have completed your ear flap, or if you're just doing a triangle, then you have done your whole series on doing that, and then you'd start increasing again. So right here, before the increase, we've done a regular E-wrap row, not increasing, and now we're doing the purl row. Instead of going down here and purling, See, I almost did it. So you might have to keep track on a piece of paper next to you. But once you get the rhythm, you should be fine. I'm just getting messed up because I'm talking. So basically you want to increase by a row, and then you want to do a set of each row in the stitch to reinforce that line. So right now I'm on the purling reinforcing the line technique here. Almost done. And then this is an E-wrap. Okay. Okay, well, you successfully completed your ear flap without the I-cord. You can find your little way in here and go ahead and braid in your extra material, your extra yarn, and do a little braid stitching instead of an I-cord. You can weave this in and then pin it up on your ear flap. So you have got, I've got one on this other side that I had just cut the tail on. You've got an opportunity now to just start your hat. What you could do is work all the way around. Like right now, I like to finish out this row because on my ear flap before, I always want to get back to the left. So I'm going to show you. I've got this tail ending on the left, so I want to have the same amount of rows on here. So we're going to go ahead and do one more row. Okay. And on this particular style, I want to have a fashion of going to the right, because that's how, well, that's how I usually wrap my stitches, but sometimes I change. But anyway, so now I'm on the left, and I'm on the left for the other one, so I know my rows are even. Thank you again for joining us at GoodKnit Kisses and allfreeknitting.com. And if you have any questions, please subscribe to either channel if you're watching on allfreeknitting.com. But if you have questions, feel free to come over to GoodKnit Kisses YouTube channel, because I can answer your questions there. I won't be able to see your video. I won't be able to see your questions on the video at All Free Knitting. So be sure and check me out on my channel. For more tips and tutorials, go to allfreeknitting.com. Thanks again for joining us at GoodKnit Kisses and my friends at allfreeknitting.com. Happy looming!